Good day, everyone. Right now, I'm having a nice coffee here in the rainy streets in Madrid. Come back to Madrid after 6 years of visiting, and it's just a day before I end up heading back. And unfortunately, it's rainy. I was hoping to explore a little bit more Madrid. I was hoping for some sunshine and some hot weather, but it got cold and rainy. So I'm already missing Seville, but this is a good opportunity to do a Ask Me Anything. Ask me any questions you would like about travel, about my videos, about history, about my cultural experiences. Feel free to ask me literally anything. And hello Oleg, hello Camilla, hello Mater, nice to see you here. I'm in the rainy street here in Madrid, the capital of Spain, España. And I'm having a coffee over here, some sparkling water, nice cafe. I was about to go to this cafe called Geisha that has like specialty coffee, but you know, sometimes the better coffees, or at least the better places to sit. So it's either the better coffee, because the espresso is actually more traditional, and or the place is more comfortable to sit, usually in the bars or older style cafes, as opposed to a specialty coffee bar. Almo says Madrid gets a second chance. It does. It does. I don't know. I arrived around 1 p.m. to Madrid. Had a nice late lunch and walking around a little bit. It is a bit rainy, but I just immediately don't like the vibes. That's my honest opinion. You know, that should not invalidate anyone who lives in Madrid and loves it. Everyone's tastes are different, but I'm here and it's not as beautiful or clean as Seville or as Barcelona. It's a bit grittier. There's not that many cafes from what I've seen walking around. There's a few, but they don't seem too terribly interesting. The food also doesn't seem too terribly interesting. That's my opinion right now. And I'm not liking it. Camilla, nice to see you here. To me, it's like Madrid feels like Genoa, but without the fun part of it. Camilla says, I met a nice girl here in Madrid that she said people don't smile. No. That was my original experience. I have not seen different yet. I'm here for only a day, so it's not sufficient to give a full second point of view. Are the anti-tourist protests getting blown out of proportion? Ezra, those are probably centered around Barcelona and maybe Ibiza, but not here. Not in Madrid, nor in Seville. I did not see any protests. Hello, Tuba. Nice to see you here. You look like you hunt treasure, says Nat. It's because I do. That's what I do after I film my videos. Janky says, I love the beard. Thank you so much, Janky. It took a few months to grow this beard. Hey, Sami Chiban says, Madrid is an odd city, but after a while I got it. Very trendy, lots of food places. Yeah, I assume if I go more to like the village type of places, which is Chueca, I remember being impressed with when I came here last time. I was really disappointed by the Jewish quarter, which hasn't been Jewish in a long time, so it's not anything related to that. But it was a bit abandoned, not too much life happening. So Sigma says, do Saul Goodman impression. This is the wrong channel for that. But feel free to ask me anything about travel. Any urbanistic specialties of Spain you want to see in the New York City? I was getting loud here. Any experiences in Spain that I want to see is hey, you could take it. Everyone decided to sit over here. Yeah, you know, I really love Seville, how crowded it is. Seville is based on the medieval plan, and actually the city's even older than that, dating back to the Dark Ages, but it has such a kind of nice flair to it. I really, really love Seville. Yeah, really, really enjoy Seville. Sorry, getting distracted. People trying to sit next to me. Camilla says, good to see you in Spain, but you should return to Italy. I really do love Italy. Are people drunk? No, just a very rowdy crowd. Sean, howdy from Nashville. Hey, Sean, nice to see you here from Nashville. Thank you so much for tuning in. Almo says, strictly only Larry David impressions here. My impressions are not that, you know, sometimes they're pretty good. You know, sometimes, but not all the time. Icarus from Brazil. Oi, tudo bem? So anything I would like to see in New York City being adopted? Yeah, I would love to see New York City adopt more of medieval urban planning. Basically, things just denser. Streets could barely fit a car. I would love to see that in neighborhoods in New York City. Ooh, it's lightning right now. Hey, Eric says, love the things you do and what you show us. You're welcome in Amsterdam. Hey, man, I loved Amsterdam. I went a few years ago, and I had a big blast in Amsterdam. I really enjoyed it. Amo says class. Yes, indeed. Isabel, buenos dias. Buenos dias, Isabel. Ask me anything. This is a old school philosophical chat. Hey, Picard and Susan, welcome. Ruan says, how are you doing? I miss Seville. I miss Seville and miss Barcelona. I want to be back in Barcelona. It's such a great city. There's so much great things to do. Te puede llevar eso, sí, sí. Yeah, I miss it so much. Camilla says, is that thunder? It is thunder and lightning. I thought I wouldn't see rain in my trip, but it is raining indeed. It didn't rain the entire time I was in Portugal and the entire time I've been in Spain. This is the first time I've seen rain, and it happens to be in the city of Madrid, which many people already know. I've been to so many places in Europe. The city has not been my favorite. Matt says, good morning. Good morning, Matt. Ruan from South Africa. Wow. You're tuning in from way, way south. I'm tempted to go to South Africa one day. Let me know, where should I go in South Africa? Camilla says you could just leave. Yeah, I can. Yeah, well, indeed I am. It's only a 1 day stopover. Glad it's only 1 day. City you retire in if you can retire anywhere. Money wasn't an issue. Oh man, say Adam, thank you so much for tuning in from Bangladesh. I love Bangladeshi people and Bangladeshi culture. If money were an issue, where would I move? I would retire maybe to the south of France or Paris. I love Paris. I could see myself living in Paris. I would retire in one of the Greek islands. It'll be hard to choose, but yeah, actually, if money was really unlimited, I would just buy a home in like Naxos, Greece. Ludo says, do you have an umbrella? No, I do not. No, I do not. I did not think I would need an umbrella in this trip. Can you tell me about jobs here, moving with family? Tuba, I don't know that information when it comes to Europe. It's not my specialty. Now, when it comes to New York, also don't know It's not my specialty. New York, immigrating to the U.S. can be rather difficult. Hence why it's such a controversy in the U.S. because a lot of people do so illegally. And I would encourage you to do it legally. That's the only piece of advice I can give. Otherwise, New York is very expensive, so be prepared. It also has a lot of opportunity, but New York, you have to be ready to hustle and really focus on trying to find the biggest opportunities you can, because New York can really be a difficult city in terms of affording it. Are you going to VidCon, says Trey? No, I don't have intentions on going to VidCon. I'm not the biggest fan of influencer events, to be honest. And I'm not the biggest fan of people who make studying YouTube and social media their profession. I get why people do it, and it is a valuable service to companies, to smaller creators, but I've never been a fan of seeing those videos myself. I've never been in that scene. I don't like looking at analytics. I really don't like trying to plan what I post, how I post it, trying to game the algorithm. It's never been my style. And I don't even watch that much YouTube anymore. I found myself watching less and less YouTube. I found myself getting bored. I just watch more lectures and longer interviews. So yeah, not too into YouTube culture. Johnny says, what's this channel about? I cover history and the intersection with urbanism. How cities are built, why they are built, how they were built, and the stories behind them. Almo says it's best to get rich, then go to New York. Yes. Buddy, someone always asks this. Have you seen Spider-Man in New York City? Yes. Me and him are buddies. But he's always swinging around, so it's a bit annoying. Jamie says, can you shout out your friend Nick? No, I can't. I don't do shout outs here. I wouldn't do a shout out to a guy named Nick Fuentes. No shout outs. Eric says, what are you doing today? I was going to walk around. It started raining. Hopefully, I think the rain will eventually go away, like in the next hour. But I'm in Madrid to explore, and I want to give it a second chance. I am not impressed. Not impressed at all. It's one of those cities, just like, I was just walking down to this cafe and thinking to myself, I don't want to be here. I gotta go back to Barcelona. Maria says, how do you go about planning your overseas trips? Do you use a travel agent or do you research? No, I never use a travel agent. The only times where a trip might be planned by someone else is two different instances. Is if I have a sponsorship, and that was the case when I went to Berlin last year because I collaborated with Siemens Mobility, the train manufacturer, or if I'm working with the tourism board. But the other second instance is something very rare. It was going on a trip with my girlfriend, and she did most of the research for Portugal. I kind of did not want to do any research because it was a vacation for me. And work for me is planning the trip. It's trying to find the hotels, the best places to stay, the main sites that I should eventually see, things like that. So it was nice to not plan that trip at all. Aside from picking 2 Airbnbs, 3 Airbnbs I picked. But in terms of how do I go about planning, then when I do it on my own and I'm traveling over here to Seville, and now I went to Barcelona, Seville, and now briefly Madrid, is I end up finding the best hotel to stay or Airbnb. So I try to find a place that I can walk easily to many of the sites, and or have a lot of like food and cafes nearby, because I think especially if you're walking around the city for a long time, really taking your long walking for miles, exploring different museums and landmarks, I think the least that you would want to do is try to search for food at the end of the day. So that's why I prefer to stay in neighborhoods where there's plenty of food available later in the day or at night. And that might sound obvious, but you'll be surprised. For example, like in Rome, some of the bigger hotels are located in the financial district of Rome. There's really nothing there after 7 p.m. So it's kind of a dead area. So in Rome, I'd rather stay in Prati, which is like the neighborhood right by the Vatican. The other thing I do is I try to see if there's any major landmarks that require booking well in advance. And sometimes I'm diligent about booking them in advance, and sometimes I'm not. So in Seville, I was diligent with booking the Alcazan and the cathedral. I did that like 2 weeks ahead of time. But I did not do that with the Alhambra, which I kind of regret. But I will be back to the south of Spain at some point because I want to go back to Granada and Alhambra. I tried to go Alhambra, sold out, couldn't go. So basically that's it. Otherwise than that, I don't make an itinerary. I don't make a list of plans. I might have 2 or 3 landmarks already set to visit at a specific time. But that's it. Scott says it's like 5:36 right now in Madrid. Where are you from, man? Wild Yush. I come from no place, no country, no culture. I'm from New York City. Purple, hey, Wendy says cheesecake? No cheesecake right now, but cheesecake is really good. It's really good in Spain. Cheesecake is amazing in Spain. I really recommend it. Wendy says, nice shirt. Thank you so much. I got this in Portugal, in Lisbon, a store called Otherwise. Josh claims I stole $1,200 from you. Josh, you do have to check your wallet because according to my calculation, it was more like $1,700. I have no idea where you're throwing those accusations, Josh. I would never steal. I will only steal people's hearts, but never their money. Can you recommend a hotel to stay at in Barcelona and Madrid? I stayed in it. Madrid, I stayed in Airbnbs. I'll reveal later where I'm staying for this night. But the place I can recommend in Barcelona for a hotel that I really loved was the place I stayed on this time around. And it's called H10 Metropolitan. H10 Metropolitan. Wal Yush says, are you a traveler? Yes, I travel quite a lot. Travel like 5 months out of the year. Master says, I'm heading to Madrid next week to engineer a festival. Wow. Hey, cool. What type of festival is it, Master? Do you do audio mastering? That's awesome. Can you recommend a hotel? Already answered that. Your favorite meal while you've been away? My favorite meal while I've been here has been in Lisbon. In the Algarve. I had a risotto with dorado, with golden bream. It was really good. Nice big fish, super delicious. Wal Yush says, are you single? No, I'm not. And how many countries have you been to? Maybe like 20. I haven't been to that many countries, but I've traveled Europe extensively. So I've been to a lot of cities in Europe. Ange says, watching for the Philippines. Hey, thank you. Planning my trip as we go in October. Ooh, cool. Megan says, I've heard in Spain people are angry at tourists because of the lack of housing. What are your thoughts on that? Have experienced any rudeness? No, I've not experienced any rudeness. I am fluent in Spanish, though I do have an accent, especially from the point of view of Spaniards, but I have not encountered any rudeness at all. And neither in Barcelona, nor Seville, nor here. I think people might encounter negative experiences if they're staying in one of the big name hotels and they're going to more of the touristy restaurants. Say in Barcelona, they're going to one of the restaurants in Las Ramblas, which is like the main walkway. They might encounter something negative. Sharon says, what type of fish did you have? I had golden bream in the Algarve. And Master says, I'm engineering concerts for an exhibit. Ooh, cool. That's awesome to hear. Dan, thank you so much for tuning in from Canada. I appreciate it. While Yush says, what's the worst country you've been to? I think the country that was the most depressing was definitely Romania. And it's a shame because I think Romania has things to offer, but people were not proud of their country, and they were very kind of down in the dumps. Like when I asked for tips, I asked people, should I visit the palace? For example, Bucharest, Romania has the largest palace in the entire world. Yes, it was built by one of the worst dictators in Europe, that too. But when I asked people, should I go? They're like, no, don't bother. I get why, but also it kind of sucked to hear that kind of just don't bother doing that. Don't bother with the food. Don't bother going to the countryside of Romania. I got a lot of that in Romania, which was a bit of a shame. Any plans to go to South America? I really want to go to South America, so hopefully soon. I've been saying that for years, but hopefully soon. Wendy asks, what do you like most about Seville? Did you meet up with friends? No, I only had the chance to see friends in Lisbon. In Spain, I don't have... I have a friend that lives... My co-host for the podcast, Dr. T. Panova, who you'll see the podcast soon, but she's appeared in short videos. She lives Barcelona part of the time, but she wasn't there when I was there, unfortunately. And in Seville, no. Seville, I didn't know anyone. But what I like most about Seville is how beautiful the city was. Every single corner you go to was just stunning. Tony says, have I been to the Philippines? No, but I would love to go to the Philippines to practice my Tagalog. Kumusta ka? Magandang apo. Salamat po. Bruni says, what's your favorite city based on urban design? It's a good question. I really love medieval cities like Seville, Maastricht in the Netherlands, Blaca in the neighborhood in Athens. There's a few cities that are like medieval, the Tuscan cities like Arezzo. They're just beautiful and stunning. They're not so elaborately planned. So when it comes to my favorite urban plan, like city that was planned, I would say Paris, number 1, and number 2, Barcelona. Sergio, nice to see you here. Alcalá de Henares. ¿Dónde está Alcalá de Henares? ¿Dónde es eso? ¿Cuál es el mejor barrio de Madrid? Me avisas. What's the best neighborhood in Madrid? Wendy says, I'm loving the beard. It's growing on you. Ooh, thank you. I never knew a beard would be so divisive. I usually never get comments on my physical appearance. It's very, very rare. And I'm very grateful because the internet overall can be very nasty. But the first nasty comments I've ever gotten about my appearance have been about my beard. I've been shocked. I've been shocked that people would like say nasty things about it. Lo and behold, those people are banned immediately. So if you're watching this and wondering why I can't comment, well, that's why. Don't talk trash about my beard. But yeah, thank you. But I've also gotten a lot of compliments as well. Stephanie says, just trim the beard neatly, please. A lot of people say that. I am. You know, people grow their hair differently. People have hair different ways, you know. Not everyone has the benefit of having like a very thick beard that always looks like nicely trimmed. You know, we all look different. I think this kind of expectation that everyone should be always perfectly trimmed it's a bit much. It's a bit much. Wendy says, is Susie around? I hope she's okay too. No, I haven't seen her around. Hey. Susan says I like it. Kind of have a Greek god look there. Yeah. yeah, the Greek gods are depicted with this type of beard. Yeah, like very long. They didn't have thick mustaches. And it's because that's why I blend in so well in Greece. And it's because the Greeks, I've noticed, Greek men don't have like super thick mustaches. Super thick mustaches is more other European countries. You start going to Germany, you go to Central Europe, definitely like in the UK and Scotland, you see men with very thick mustaches. Same thing in like France, but Greece, I've noticed men also have pretty thin mustaches like myself. So I think a lot of Greek gods are depicted with like that type of long beard that's mostly on the chin. Jill says it adds a wise look to you. Ooh, thank you. Hey, Susan says I'm an old hippie. Long hair and beards for me. Hey. Gregory says the Jewish community of East London has a rich history. I love London. I want to cover more history in London. So, I would love to stay in London for a few months and just cover all the history in London. Russell says you're cosplaying as Dr. Zarkov. Ooh, don't know who Dr. Zarkov is, but he better be handsome. Because if he's not, I absolutely deny. Slugworth is team beard. Georgia says, are you in Iran, brother? No, I'm not. I'm not in Iran. No, this is Madrid. I mean, it might look similar. Kind of has a similar vibe to it, but no. Madrid, Barcelona by far. In my opinion, it's a great city. Any work for private companies, Ludo? In the pipeline. Oh, Ludo, yeah, you're asking about sponsorships. No, I haven't had the good chance of getting a sponsor. I'm making videos for Bulova, but it's on their channel, so go to Bulova on TikTok, and you'll see my videos there. But otherwise, I have not gotten any new sponsorships. It's been a bit slow. Airborne says from Houston, howdy Airborne. Feel free to ask me any questions. Oh, Russell's referring to, I think, the villain of Flash Gordon. Now I know who you're talking about. Yeah, indeed I am. Indeed I am cosplaying as Dr. Zarkov. Jill says, I was going to comment on how great the new look is, but I thought it was inappropriate. No, what's inappropriate is people being mean about it. That kind of shocks me. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but some people have been very mean. Not nice, not nice. Solar Plexus says, how do you feel about Islam? It's a very complicated subject. I mean, all religions are very complicated subjects. I can tell you this, I think one of the more interesting aspects of Islam is that it recognizes that spirituality has overlap with our legal system, and that the sense that our spiritual world is separated from our everyday life that is ruled by law. They're separate, but they're not. And I think Islam is basically the only religion that kind of ignores that pays attention to that connection. It's very vague, so I don't know too much about Islam too deeply, but I do know that they have kind of the sense of that the way we live our everyday lives should reflect our spiritual journey. Have you had a good meal today? I did. I had some Brazilian. I went to a Brazilian grill. Really good food. Super inexpensive. 17 euro for a massive plate of unlimited meats like steaks and pork chops and sausage and mashed potatoes and rice and beans. Hey, Downhill says watching from the Bronx. Hey man, thank you so much for tuning in from the Bronx. I appreciate that. ¿Cuándo va a Alcalá de Henares? Pregunta Sergio. El Alcalá de Henares. Eso es un poco difícil de decir. No sé, no he oído de ese barrio todavía, pero voy a chequearlo. Martin says hello, saludos Martin, gracias por viendo esta emisión. Will you be going live in New York City? Wendy, there might be a surprise live in New York City. Airborne says, what's your favorite whiskey? I like Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie is pretty damn good. I haven't tried that many other whiskeys. I'm not really much of a whiskey drinker, but it's pretty damn good. How was the 5-hour speed train ride? So I went from Barcelona to Seville, and that was 5 hours and 40 minutes. That was very comfortable. I did first class. I'm going to post clips of it on Instagram stories, so follow me on Urbanist Ariel. But yeah, it was really good. Camilla says they heard you speak Spanish. No, it was just a big rowdy group. They weren't paying any attention to me. They were just very rowdy. They just left. Oh, Sergio dice que una ciudad cerca de Madrid. Okay, bueno saber. Any plans? Scott says, any plans to graduate to husband status? I mean, should I be in a hurry? Let me know. Do people out there recommend Camilla says, what would you do if you were in Miami? Miami, I love Miami, but Miami's very different from Europe. So Miami, I don't think I'll be sitting out in a cafe because there's not that many cafes with outdoor seating. So Miami, I don't know what I would be doing in Miami, but Miami is a nice city. I really, really did enjoy it. I had very good impressions. If you ever live stream in Asia in the future, what country would it most likely be? Well, now that I see Action Kid live streaming from China, it'll probably be China. I would love to go to, I'm not sure if it would be wise, but if it's possible, if it doesn't seem that's too restrictive, I would love to live stream in Tibet. Otherwise than that, I would love to go to Kathmandu in Nepal. I would love to go to base camp of Everest and live stream from there. I think that would be so epic. And then I would love to go to, where else should I go? Vietnam would be awesome. Action Kid has also gone to Vietnam. I would love to go to Kuala Lumpur. It just looks like a stunning city. Manny Explorers is another YouTube channel that went to Kuala Lumpur. Hey, Aninom says, have you covered Queens? Yeah, quite extensively. I've covered a lot of Manhattan, a lot of Brooklyn, and a lot of Queens. Not so much the Bronx, only recently. And we'll do more of the Bronx because people really loved it. I've done very little in Staten Island, but Queens I've done a lot. Queens, search Louis Armstrong House. Search the Bound House, Bone, Bound House. I've also gone to the Volker Orth Museum. I've covered the Flushing Meadows Garden, the Flushing Meadows area. I've gone to Flushing Main Street. I've covered a lot of things. I've covered Newtown Creek. So, and more Queens videos are coming up, so stay tuned. Alan says, is your European adventure over? This stint is. This is my last day on my European adventure. It's a bit too short. I want to explore more places of Europe. I gotta go back out, so stay tuned. Hey, Salamoon says, I love your videos. Do you plan visiting any South Asian countries and do videos on their urban planning? Yeah, I would love to. I know some South Asian countries have cities that were planned. So it'd be awesome to visit those. ¿No pasaste por el Paseo de España? Plaza de España? Pregunta Ruben. Have you passed Plaza de España in Seville? Mira, yo traté ayer y estaba cerrado porque tenía un concierto por la noche. Hay un festival que están teniendo conciertos varias veces a la semana y cierran el Paseo de España yo creo que a las 12 de la tarde, 12 del día. Es demasiado temprano y yo estaba ahí a las 2 esperando que iba a estar abierto. No creía que iba a estar cerrado, pero estaba cerrado. So unfortunately, Plaza Spain was closed in Seville due to a concert series. Downhill says, where's the lovely GF? She's back in New York. But she might appear in my videos again soon. Stay tuned. But she's back in New York. I did 2 out of the 4 legs of my trip on my own. I went to Barcelona and now Seville and here briefly in Madrid. Maria says, for those who don't have Instagram, will you post a training vid on YouTube? I didn't make a full video on it. I wish YouTube had a better story feature. But maybe I'll see if I can edit it into a short video. Hey, Alan says, I look forward to more adventures with you, Ariel. Please keep doing your live streams. Absolutely love them. Alan, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, you'll see more live streams from time to time. Wendy says, will you travel alone ever again? Yeah, I would. I would, yes. It was a pleasure traveling with my girlfriend. It was such a lovely 10 days. but I still travel to do videos for work, so I'll still be traveling on my own from time to time, and also I get sponsorships and things like that. So there's still a lot of things usually it's more efficiently for me to go on my own. Sergio pregunta, ¿cuál área de Madrid te ha gustado más? Tú sabes, yo estoy aquí en Madrid solo un día, no he tenido la oportunidad todavía de explorar Madrid. Yo creo que ya mismo sale el sol, yo creo que voy a caminar un poco más. Pero la última vez que yo fui a Madrid hace 6 años y me encantó Chueca. Era el mejor barrio, en mi opinión. Ahora, no sé, tengo que chequear otra vez Madrid. So Madrid, I came here 6 years ago, and my favorite neighborhood was Chueca. Is it possible to hire you as a tour guide? No, I don't offer in-person tours, but I can give you recommendations. Do Scott's Pizza Tours, and then check out Megan Daly. Megan Daly does tours. And I think my friend John Freya of Here in NY also does tours. So check them out. Thank you for engaging with your audience. We appreciate it. Yeah, my pleasure. If you do urban planning special in Europe, please do a collab with Not Just Bikes. He follows me, so maybe one day I'll be able to do a collab with Not Just Bikes. Alan says, do come back to Ireland. I would love to go back to Ireland. I would love to go back to Ireland. Truly, I need to go back. Have you had paella yet? Yes, I had paella. The best paella I had was in Seville. Francisco says, are you in Madrid? I am in Madrid. Do you bring souvenirs? Yes, I got myself magnets, postcards. Those are the two main ones I got. And I bought some gifts for someone very special. Sergio, ¿y cuál te gustó menos de Madrid? Which one do you enjoy least about Madrid? Tú sabes, yo no estaba tan emocionado a estar en el cuartel judío. Yo creo que así se dice en español, Jewish Quarter. Era medio vacío y entré a varias calles que no me sentí tan seguro. So out of all the places, I did not like too much the Jewish Quarter. Again, it's Jewish because it was historic. So there was a lot of empty streets, and then there was some places where I did not feel safe. And this rarely happens in Europe. All right, I think the rain is gone, so I think I'm gonna walk soon. Hope you're not getting wet from the water guns. No, there's no anti-tourist protests. Those are, I think, mostly concentrated in Barcelona, not so much here in Madrid, nor was the case in Seville. Does the rain in Spain mainly fall on the plains? Does the rain in Spain mainly fall on the plains? No, that would be insane if it fell on the plains. I don't know, actually. Don't know. I think Madrid tends to be a rainier city. And I think Seville tends to be a drier city, at least during the summertime. I'm not sure about Barcelona. All right, everyone. Last minute of questions. Rapid fire. Go. Ask me fast. Rapid fire questions. Sering says hello. Yes, hello. Nice to see you here. Rapid fire questions. Go. One more time. Here's the street. Place I went to is called El Águila, the seagull. Have you been to Portugal? Yeah, I just came back from Portugal. Check out my videos on Lisbon. And I did post a video showing the Algarve. Need a link to your Instagram. Urbanist Ariel. Same as my YouTube. Urbanist Ariel. That's my Instagram. You just type in Urbanist Ariel. I will be popping up. We're not going on a walk. Maybe if I go to a place where I can do a walk. How did you get into urban tours? I loved walking around the cities for a long time, especially starting in my early 20s. I just loved walking in the city for hours on end, going from landmark to landmark. And then the podcast Bowery Boys got me attuned to New York City history on a deeper level. And then I surprisingly did not have too many friends I could walk around for hours on end in New York City. So I ended up doing live videos. ¿Probaste gazpacho? Sí, probé gazpacho. A mí no me gusta el gazpacho en Nueva York. En Estados Unidos, no quiero gazpacho. Pero aquí, estaba sorprendido. Está bueno. Está bueno el gazpacho aquí. No questions. Lovely to keep you company in this live stream. Oh, thank you so much. Get home safe. Thank you so much. Come visit Porto next time. I do aim to go back to Portugal, to the north part. Porto and the north. How long are you in Madrid? Only a day, not so much. How many days in Spain? I was here nearly 2 weeks. 2 weeks in Spain. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Spain is a lovely country. As I mentioned, Madrid is not my favorite, but maybe there's other neighborhoods outside the center that might be more interesting. But I really am immensely enamored with Barcelona and beautiful Seville. And I want to go back, explore more of the north, go to Valencia, go to Galicia, explore more of the south, go to Cadiz and Malaga and Granada. So I want to really explore more of Spain at some point. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day. Adios, amigos.